Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm Prickly Pear Peggy, and today's project is making these little bags, these little drawstring bags. This is suede leather, and this is vinyl, and I'm going to show you how I did it. I saw a picture of these, and this was the leather, but I didn't have the etched leather, but I did have the etched vinyl. So I'm going to show you how I make these little bags. They're drawstring. They open up. And on the inside, you can put your coins, your stash, your bullets, your tobacco, your wacky tobacco, or whatever you want to put in there. And then you just cinch it back up. I'm going to put better strings in these. This was my second one. My first one was a bit too small. It's okay for loose change or whatever you want to put in there, but it was still a bit too small. So I'm going to show you how I make these cute little drawstring bags. I start off with a piece of a 12-inch circle cut out of a piece of suede leather. So this is 12 inches. And then I go around and I find the center. I find the center by folding it. There's a center. There's a center, and I mark it. Then I fold it the other way once I find those centers. And then I mark that center and that center. And the reason I need the centers is because I'll need to know where to put my vinyl strip. And for my vinyl strip, it's just a piece of vinyl, and it's 13 inches long, which it'll go across the center of my circle, and then it'll fold under. So I've marked it to fold under 1 inch on each end and 1/4 inch on each side, and that'll make a 2-inch strip down the middle. So this is 13 inches by 2.5. And then I take some tape, some double-sided tape, and I put it on each short end and each long end. And I got a little too long there, so I'm going to trim that off. Trim off the pieces of tape that hang over, because you don't want them sticking to anything. I get a little carried away. Have to make sure I get it off my scissors. Okay, so now we're going to take off all the pieces of tape. Just the back side of it. Making sure that you don't stick it to anything. Now I'm going to take each end. I don't know if you've noticed, but I cut a notch out of each side, so when it folds over, it'll look like a finished edge. So I'm folding this over just to that line. No, I'm folding it over that line. Over that line on each end to stick it down. So there's my 1/2 inch line. So I'm just going to fold this over that 1/2 inch line. So there should be a 1/2 inch folded down here. Now on the sides, we're going to do a 1/4 inch. Going to fold a 1/4 inch over and stick it down. And on those corners, you may need to clip it, and I need my clips. And I need some clips. I want to clip it so it'll stay folded. So the other side, you're going to fold it over 1/4 inch. And take some clips and clip it. Now you see that from the outside, because I cut those notches out, you see how that edge is finished? And it's not so bulky when you sew over it. Now that we got that folded down, we're going to take another piece of double-sided tape. I need my wide piece. And we're going to put it right in the middle of this 13-inch piece. And that's just to hold it down while I sew it, so it doesn't slide and shift on me. Okay, now we take our circle, bring our circle back. Now we found our midpoints there and there. So now we're going to peel off, take this off. Going to peel off the back side of our double-sided tape. And we're going to stick it down to the center. We're going to center that mark to the center and stick it down. And there we have that ready to sew. So I'm gonna put a clip on each end just to hold it in place while I sew. Now I'm going to top stitch it. Backspace to lock the stitches in. And I'm sewing 1/8 of an inch all the way around all the sides. to the end, you just back stitch again to lock those threads in. And there you have it. I stitched all the way around this vinyl piece. And there's the back side. Okay, now that we've got that done, all we have to do is punch the holes in it. So we got to mark out our holes. And I usually like to go 1.5 inches out. So 1.5 inches out and 1/4 inch down. Well, maybe 3/8 inch down. So that's going to be one hole. So 1.5 inches from that hole and 3/8 inch down. We're going to put another hole. So we're going to do this all the way around, and it should come out fairly even. May have to fudge it a little bit. 1.5 inches. Hole there. I think my pen is drying up. It should work out to where you have a hole at your midpoints. 1.5 inches, mark it. 1.5 inches, mark it. So you do this all the way around your circle. This is going to hold your drawstring. Now when you get up to your vinyl, I like to put 2 holes on each side of the vinyl, and I'll just eyeball them. And then start from there, 1.5 inches from the vinyl, and about 3/8 inch down. If you go 1/2 inch, that's okay. 1/2 inch down, but 1.5 inch over, 3/8 to 1/2 inch down. One inch over, 3/8 down. Mark your hole so you can punch your hole, and that should equal a hole at your midpoint. So you keep going. Inch and a half. There. Okay. That should work out. All your holes are marked. Now we got to punch the holes. I need to get my punch. My punching board. Okay, this is just an old cutting board that I had that I no longer used. I repurposed it for hole punching. And to punch these holes, I'll call it my Japanese screw punch. I got this off of Amazon. It comes in a kit. This is your screw punch. And this I use to empty out the droppings. And you get 6 different sizes of holes to punch. I'm using the largest size because I need it large for the strings that's going to go in it. So we're going to start here at the vinyl. Do I need to clean that? Nope. and we're going to start punching the hole. And on the screw punch, it screws. So you just press down. And that gives you a nice round hole. So you do that all the way around. So I'm going to punch all of these. You'll just be patient. I'll try to do this on fast forward so y'all won't have to watch me punch all these holes. Sometimes it takes the strength of an elephant. Depending on the thickness of your 12-inch round piece, you want it to be pliable so it can be gathered. You don't want stiff leather. And you can, what I used to make this round piece was just a Lazy Susan I had in the kitchen. It was perfect. Okay, now we're going to do the two here. Oop, I pulled my puncher out. Look, I pulled my puncher out. So we need to poke out the little rounds. And it comes with a screw on to hold the different ends in. So you just get the ends in, shove the ends in all the way down. So you poke that in, and then you take this screw and you screw it back down, and that's what holds in the tip. But I'm not very strong, so my tip keeps coming out. Because when it goes down, it screws, and that's what makes the hole. It goes around and around, and that's what makes the hole. So let's get the rest of these done before it comes apart again. This is very quick until it comes out again. Okay. Again, I'll link the line from Amazon where I got this if you are interested in getting one, because I really like it. So we got our holes punched. We can put this away. Gather up our little dots that came out of the... Again, you want to make sure that you got pliable leather, otherwise it won't work. Now for the string, I was using real thick leather strings. See how thick that one is as opposed to this one? But I'm having trouble opening and closing, so I found this at Hobby Lobby. It's called suede lace. It's 3mm by 25 yards. And that's perfect for like stringing stuff or sewing. You can even sew with it. So this is Hobby Lobby, called suede lace. It's It's 3mm by 25 yards on a spool. So now you want to thread it because you want both of these ends to come out here. So you need to thread it from the back end. So this is a 35-inch piece of lace. See how that is in the back? So now we're just gonna go back and forth through the holes, in and out. This is a little tedious, but this is how I make them. Okay, I'm one hole off, so I need to make another hole so I can get it to look right. Okay, so I'm going to make another hole right here. Oh, there it does. It come out again. Let me put my tip back in. I can't get my tip tight enough. That's why it keeps coming out. So I put another hole here. So when I thread my string through there, it'll come out here like I want it. Now I may need to do that on the other side. I'm not sure. This has all been a work in progress for me. Everyone is different. That's why it's called handmade. So we do the same on the other side. We're going to thread it in and out. Kind of like sewing, but without a needle. Now we're going to need to put another little hole here. Okay. So it can come out through the vinyl. Okay, so you got your strings here. So you want to pull it up. So you see how the back has a lace across it, and the front is where you're going to carry it by. So let's see if we can get it pulled, gathered up straight. Oh, my string broke. Oh, well. Oh. Well, that's not going to work. Alrighty. I guess you better get a bigger millimeter string. That's not going to work. Okay. Hang on. Okay, now this is thick string. I'm going to have to trim it because it is too thick. See if I can trim it. See, I'm cutting down through. And this is just a bundle of leather stringy pieces that I picked up at Hobby Lobby for like $5. But they're real thick. So if you're going to use them for this application, you're going to need to trim them down. Unless you know a leather guy that can trim them down for you. See how thick they are? So let me get this trimmed down and then I'll come back. Okay. Now, I had to take a length of leather and trim it down. And now, you see how that end is wide at the end? I'm going to take and make that pointed so I can stick it through the holes. And I'm going to clip it over my trash can here. See, it's pointed now. So it'll go through the holes better if it's pointed. I didn't point it enough. Get it through the hole. There we go. Okay, so there's our back. Now all we got to do is thread these through the holes. If you want to gather it as you go, you can. Okay, so on each side of this vinyl piece, I put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I put 10 holes spaced out, and then I put 1 hole on each side of the vinyl. And that works out to where you have a piece straight across the back, and then it comes out the front of this vinyl. The front of this vinyl. Okay, now let's thread this side through. Okay, so there you got your string thread through. Now you're going to need to cut some of this off. So determine how far open you want the user to open it. So that's good enough. So we're going to, well, maybe I'll close it first. Let's close it first, and then I'll put the ends on it. Okay. Okay, there you go. It's not going to be perfect. So now we've got to figure out where we want to cut the ends off, because if I cut it off there, this is how they'll carry it. But if I cut it off there, will they be able to open it? How wide can they open it? Well, that should be good enough. That should be good enough to open it and get it whatever you want out of it, and then close it back up. And then close it back up. Okay, so I'm going to cut it off right there. So I closed it up and I left 9 inches. Now we got to put it on. We got to put it on this closure here to hold it in place. And I got all of these on Amazon. They're all different types of closures. Look, this one looks like a cow. Oops. This one looks like a cow. Let me see if I can get that. Isn't that cute? Looks like a cow. So you got this type. What I like to use is this type. It's double. It's double. Got 2 holes, one for each side. And the reason I do that is because this is usually very thick. And I found that these doubles gets it through the hole. There we go. There's one. Put one on the other side. There's 2. So they got little springs in there that clip to it to hold it. Oh, I put it on upside down. What I want to do is have the spring part, this part, setting up. So let's try this again. So we're going to put these in through like this. Is that on that side? Yeah. Not easy to do when you got thick leather pieces. Get in there. There's 1. There's 2. Now you push it down and you pull them all the way through, and that's what's going to hold it closed. This is what's going to hold it closed while you're bouncing around. Now, what I like to do is put a knot in the very end of it. Now, because I'm not very strong, I get something I can pull with, and I pull each of these tight. So it won't come out. And there you have it. you have your little Victorian pouch for your change, your gold, your ammo. If you're a shooter, you open it up like this. Get your gold out and close it back up. You really need thinner strings, but I gotta take a trip back to Hobby Lobby to find some thinner strings, but that would work out. There you have it. There you have it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more of my videos. And if you want to see more of the things I make, check out pricklypearpeggy.com. Bye-bye.